February 14, 270 AD, so goes the legend. The legend. A martyr priest named Valentine is stone clubbed and beheaded. Yo, he bled for defying the decree of Roman Emperor Claudius II, who forbade men and women to marry for territory. Rome fought as many epic battles as it could shoulder in an attempt to become world controllers, and apparently men in love made bad soldiers. So he had his war dogs chasing sticks instead of cats, but like Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that. Yo, but even men in jail can't deny the desire to load the ship at the dock. So Claudius the Cruel may have forced his men to be attracted to what they otherwise would not. But such was Greek and Roman culture. And still another story suggests that Valentine, he was put to death for helping Christians escape Roman prisons where they were tortured and beaten. Yo, if this be the case, what a waste. Cause what we celebrate ain't got nothing to do with persecution or martyrdom. So as the story goes, before Valentine was killed, he was put in jail first. He fell in love with his jailer's daughter and miraculously cured her blind curse. And before he died, he left her a letter signed, "From your Valentine." And around the same time in the 3rd century, the mighty empire was under siege. Roman shepherds feared that their flocks would get caught. Their flocks would get caught by the Roman flesh herd eaters. So instead of crying freedom, they were crying wolf. So they held a feast in honor of the god Lupercus to watch over their flocks as a result. Now this festival is actually held on February 15th. And the founders of Rome, Remus and Romulus, were also honored, oddly enough, cause as boys they were raised by a ravenous lupus. Talk about a beast in a sheep's cloak. Check the irony. This simply means that they were raised by a ravenous she-wolf. So check now. The festivities, they began with a sacrificial lamb. No, really. 2 goats and a dog slaughtered for purification. While 2 boys of noble birthright, they stood waiting as their heads were touched with sacrificial blood and then wiped with sheep's wool dipped in milk. Then they were supposed to chuckle and laugh like everything was all chill. The boys then cut strips of goat skin drenched in blood and hit the streets, smacking and slashing the crops. Yo, lashing, smacking and slapping the women who were anxious to bear children. Yo, cause they actually believed that this bloody beat down would increase fertility. So for this, the half goat, half amazing, half dog, god Phanes, he would be happy. Yo, these goat skin strips are called februa, and the act of lashing, febratio, stemming from the Latin to purify, hence the name now, February. And this is the month we dedicate to Black history. But I digress. Phanes, he was the god of agriculture. Yo, and according to the Roman calendar, February was a month in spring, so love, it had to be in the air. Yo, young men and women, they played the Roman lottery, but not for money. Sexual entertainment was the payment. Yo, horny boys would choose their love slave's name from a giant urn, then would burn her for the year. Yo, they realized they weren't getting no younger, so they said, yo, let's just get married. Might as well do it. Or make that return and play the numbers again the following year, hoping to get lucky. So with the rise of Christianity now in the 4th century and the merging of church and state, religious officials deemed that this lottery was unchristian, and they attempted to stamp out anything considered pagan. So instead of girls' names in urn, guess what? Now it was saints. And the lives of these holy men, the young people were supposed to emulate. Well, this practice was obviously unpopular, didn't last very long, and the young people soon reverted to their original way of getting their freak on. But still to this date, that festival that we know, or known as Lupercalia, is what we call Saint Valentine's Day. Yo, and this tradition of pairing off continued throughout Europe in the Middle Ages. And February 14th was considered to be the beginning of the bird season for mating. This added to the idea that Valentine's Day was meant for romance. Mainly celebrated in 17th century England and France, but off and on and off, it was bad, caused trouble. People were catching feelings, seemingly the proving of devotion caused a bitter commotion amongst even those who weren't as chosen to be a Valentine. Yo, but what about Cupid? Cupid? Don't be stupid. Yo, I don't need some Naked little willy white boy with wings, tossing arrows like salad to tell me that I'm in love. Yo, check this. Cuba's Greek name was Eros, which means erotic. His mother was Venus, not Williams, but in Greek, Aphrodite, goddess of beauty. And she was consumed with jealousy over Eros' mortal wife, Psyche, who was even more lovely. So as the story goes, Eros had to leave his wife, cause she broke the rules and looked at the god's face. She was full of disgrace and she made haste trying to find her husband all over the place. Yo, she turned to Venus for help, but there was no love. Game, set, match, yo, what a stunner. Venus served her a series of impossible tasks that left her deep, dead in slumber. Now let's read between the lines. The psyche is your soul personified. And in that search for eroticism or erotic love, yo, your soul is put to sleep when it comes face to face with another's beauty. So now in 2002 we continue to show our affection buying cars, flowers, and candy. Yo, feeding a multi-billion-dollar international industry, and our integrity is the fee. Yo, but amongst all these pagan and religious rituals, the mythology, even turtle doves, people please tell me, answer me this question. Yo, like Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, yo, I'm asking, where is the love?